He saw the Christians already waiting, kneeling before the true cross, priests chanting over the ranks. At their center sat the boy king. Baldwin whispered a prayer, raised his sword, and gave one order. For God and for Jerusalem. Ride.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Thin and trembling, rose from his throne. His voice, weak yet steady, silenced them all. "If God wills it," he said, "then I will ride. I will meet Saladin on the field, for Jerusalem does not surrender while I draw breath." It was madness, yet it sparked something in the hearts of his men. The Templars, sworn knights of Christ, rallied to him. The Hospitallers followed. From castles and villages came barely 500 knights and a few thousand foot soldiers, all that remained to stand between Saladin and the Holy City. As they rode out of Ascalon, the desert stretched endless before them, waves of gold and fire. Baldwin rode at the front, his face covered by a silver mask to hide his affliction, his hand trembling on the reins. Beside him, the Templar Grand Master Odo de St. Ammon spoke quietly, "Sire, we ride to our deaths." Baldwin's eyes, blue and fierce, met his. "Then let us ride as if we were already immortal." Ahead lay Montgassard and destiny. From the plains of Egypt, the banners of Saladin. 26,000 men marched northward, their armor glinting beneath the sun, their war drums echoing across the dunes. Saladin rode at their head, mounted upon a black Arabian stallion, his presence commanding even among kings.
In 1177, the deserts of the Holy Land trembled beneath the march of one of the largest Muslim armies ever assembled. At its head rode Sultan Saladin, the Lion of Islam. Once a Kurdish officer in the service of Nur ad-Din, Saladin had risen to become Sultan of Egypt and Syria, uniting the fractured Muslim world under his banner, and his dream was clear: to wipe the Crusader kingdom of Jerusalem from the earth and reclaim the holy city for Islam. He marched with 26,000 soldiers, archers from Aleppo, Mamluk cavalry from Cairo, and Bedouin tribesmen by the thousands. His siege engines crawled across the desert like beasts of iron. And all but standing in his path was a dying boy, King Baldwin IV of Jerusalem. With his pale skin wrapped in linen, the 15-year-old boy king, born the son of King Amalric, Baldwin had been raised in the royal court under the tutelage of William of Tyre, who first noticed the strange calm in the boy. Baldwin never flinched to pain. He never cried when he was bruised or burned. His skin, it seemed, could not feel, for it was leprosy, the most feared affliction of the age. But where others saw a curse, Baldwin saw a cross to carry. When his father died, the child who should have been hidden away in a monastery was instead crowned king. Many believed it would doom the kingdom, but instead, Baldwin proved himself a warrior. And before the great war that would define him, Baldwin had already earned his first victory. As years earlier, at the fortress of Banias, he led a surprise assault that crushed a raiding force along the border of Galilee. It was here he showed his nature, not reckless, but resolute. He learned that strength was not the absence of pain, but the mastery of it. By his mid-teens, the disease had begun to consume his body, yet his will only hardened. So when word came that Saladin had crossed the Jordan with an army that stretched to the horizon, Baldwin didn't retreat. behind Jerusalem's walls. He gathered what strength remained, 500 knights, a few thousand infantry, and holy warriors of the Templar Order, and met them outside the walls, near a hill called Mont Gazard. As Saladin and his army crested the hill, to their surprise, he saw the Christians already waiting, kneeling before the true cross, priests chanting over the ranks. At their center sat the boy king. Baldwin whispered a prayer, raised his sword, and gave one order: for God and for Jerusalem. Ride. 500 knights thundered downhill into 26,000 men. Templars smashed through the left flank, Hospitallers through the right. Steel, sand, and blood ripped through the air, and Baldwin rode among them, lashed to his horse, shouting commands through the din of battle as the sky filled with arrows and smoke. Saladin's men, exhausted from their long march, broke under the fury of the Christian assault. Within hours, Saladin's army was collapsing. His command tent fell, his banners burned, and the man who sought to reclaim Jerusalem fled the field with barely a handful of guards. The rest lay dead or scattered across the sands. When the battle was over, Baldwin, his hands shaking, his body failing, lifted the relic of the cross above the field and gave thanks to God. Ravaged by disease and half blind, he returned to Jerusalem, not as a dying man, but as a living legend. History remembers Baldwin, not for the wars he fought, but for the grace with which he bore his affliction. His crown was heavy, but never as heavy as the silence in which he bore his pain. Baldwin would go on to serve as king for 11 years, until his death in 1185. All right, welcome back, everybody. A couple big announcements. First off, yes, I am Popo-Medic. It is I am Batman. But in more important news, we just
for Tumno under 16s football.
Apparently, demons blend in just fine at daybreak.
The central message of Christianity is not just love, actually. There's lots of different messages. It's a very interesting religion and it takes a very long time to study. It's a lifelong journey, but love is up there. So I'll be very polite, but I am going to tell the truth to the patriots. The little rodent Islamists that come to heckle, this is exactly the same people who are DMing me the most awful, most violent, most horrible, nasty, rude and unpleasant things. They're also the people that told me to come to Whitechapel so I could get dealt with. And my message to them is, you have no idea. You have no idea the fury. You have no idea the rage. So I'll keep it peaceful, and the message is love. But we're not taught to be Christians. We're not taught to be tolerant of evil. So if they want it, they're going to regret ever asking for it.